We're back. Swishes, Hits, and Kicks, episode 5. I'm your host, Richard Carrion. And we're back, and we're recording this on a Tuesday. Tuesday on a Tuesday. Remember when that song was a hit? Man, I remember that was like a little bit of a banger at that time, right? Time in music. And looking back, dang, we're just talking about days of the week, right? Just days of the week, you know, we can make them into the club hit and radio pop single. So, you know, this is so weird sometimes to be like, how's everyone doing? Well, truth be told, I don't know. But I can tell you how I'm doing. Let's jump right in. Let's talk about some good vibes, because that's what I'm feeling today. And, last episode I talked about how February is always such a tough month, right, on your boy. February is tough, you know, on the bank account, just, you know, there's a lot of expenses because of so many things going on. But truth be told, this is like the busy time of the year. Things are happening at work, things are moving quick, and then just in personal life, like things are moving. And it's not a bad thing. I work better under pressure. I always have. My wife would laugh like when I'm in college, and she's like, "Hey, have you finished that paper?" "Oh no, not yet." "When's it due?" "Tomorrow." And she would stress out, and I wouldn't. I don't know why. I've always worked better under pressure. I don't know what it is. Like, you know, if I know I got a deadline and I have to get it within a certain number of days, I just do better. I've always been that way. And so starting now, I feel like there's some pressure going on. There's some things going on, happening, right? March is going to be here on Friday. I'm excited. Stressful, right? It's stressful. There's always a little bit in there where you're like, okay, man, it's a little stressful. It's a little bit like a lot going on, but I can do it. I've always been able to do it. So I don't know. I don't know if anyone else is feeling that right now, especially as we're going into spring, right? A lot going on. Not a bad thing. Just the grind continues, and I'm all about the grind. Like, I like the grind. Sometimes I like to relax. When it's like Christmas time, for some reason I like to relax. But grinding, man, I used to grind so hard to get what I eventually wanted, right? And right now I'm in a spot where I feel like I still have to. Like, I feel like I'm having to grind more right now. And that's good. For many different reasons. This podcast actually is included, like, I just want to grind, like, you know, to even connect with others that are like-minded about sports and just talking about it and enthralled in that and other things, you know, that it's always a fun thing to me. It's just to have nice conversation with like-minded individuals, right? And not even that we have to agree on everything, just like we have a passion for that particular thing. Probably don't even have to be a fan of the same teams. Not everybody's a Kings fan. Definitely not everybody's a Raiders fan. Special breed, right, guys? Special breed to be a Raiders fan. Let's see. What's next? Good vibes. We can talk about in basketball a little bit. The LA Clippers, right? The Los Angeles Clippers. They are having some, like, a new, almost identity going to happen to them. And I think this is amazing for them. They're going to have a rebrand. They're finally, you know, they're going to have, like, new jerseys, right? Their jerseys are going to be new. But I think the biggest thing is they're moving to a new arena. They will be moving to a new arena. I believe this is all going to happen next year. And, you know, I think it's just, it's going to be good for them. I think it's called the Inuit Dome. And they need this because LA is always, LA is always the Lakers town. Even when they played at the Forum, I don't know if it's called the Crypto Arena anymore, but I always knew it as the Staples Center. The Staples Center, you know, gosh, they have statues already of, like, Lakers players. They just put one of my boy Kobe out there. That's not the Clippers' home. You know, the Clippers right now are honestly better than the Lakers. I know LA fans are going to hate to hear that, but that's the truth. With Paul George and Kawhi both healthy, they're better than the Lakers. And they have a better chance to win a championship right now than probably the Lakers do. So them moving to a new home is going to be great for them because now it's their own identity. Most of those banners where they play right now are the Lakers. The Lakers is one of the greatest teams, not just in the NBA, sports, like history. It's one of the most profitable teams in sports history. And so for the Clippers to move to their own place, I think this is going to be great. I got a good feeling for them. I'm not even a Clippers fan, right? But I still think it's cool. Like, it's really cool for them to do. Let's see. What's next? I talked a little bit about this next time. Oh, the cough's back, guys. Cough's still there. Cough might not be going anywhere. Might have to be getting that checked out soon again. Let's talk about, and I'm gonna stay on this because I enjoy it, and I feel like we're hitting the hottest point of the season is WWE. We're hitting the hottest point in the season right now with WWE because right now they just had their Elimination Chamber. Your guy was right in every pick. It's kind of blatant. And we're heading to WrestleMania season. Most people know what WrestleMania is. Some people even would think like it's all called WrestleMania, but it's not. It's not all called WrestleMania. But we're heading to the biggest show of the year. It'll be in Philadelphia where the Eagles play. 2 nights. So they're going to sell that place out for 2 nights. Like 70,000, 60,000 each night. And we are about to just like coming to the biggest part of the year. We're going to have a lot of like, The Rock's going to be there for this road. One of the biggest stars in the world, right? It's The Rock. He's going to be involved through the whole thing. We have Cody Rhodes, right? Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Logan Paul, like Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley. Like, we have all these people. If you're a WWE fan, you know these people. LA Knights, right? Like, Usos, There's just so many people like getting shout outs in this, and I'm just bringing them up because it's a good vibe. Like, if you're a wrestling fan, if you're a WWE fan right now, you're loving what you're watching. It's fun. Every week is fun. I don't know if anyone's ever been to a pro wrestling show, and I know everyone has their things about like, oh man, but it's fake. It's predetermined. That's tight. I didn't know Spider-Man was real. That's cool. The Avengers, arguably like one of the most profitable like series and movies. I didn't know that was real. That's tight. Okay. Cool, man. Oh, we watched Pearl Harbor. That was real. It was real. The movie wasn't exactly how the story went, but that's cool. There's a lot of things like that. It's always funny. That argument to me is always hilarious because it's like, oh man, but it's not real. That's tight. So what is real from movies? Because it's all fake. It's a movie. Like, a movie's not real. Like, it's just a movie. It's a show. They're acting. The difference with pro wrestling is that they have to be athletic. They have to be able to be an actor, and they have to do it improvisational, because what's going on out there can change in any moment, and they have to be able to change it. The craziest thing that I think they do is they invoke an emotion out of people, positively or negatively, depending on what they want. And that is a very hard art to do, is to invoke an emotion out of an adult male or a kid or a female. Like, you invoke an emotion, whether they boo me or cheer me. That is a hard thing to do. And, I love my pro wrestling, so I'm probably always going to talk about it at some point in this podcast. Let's go into MMA. Fight night happened. I talked about that last episode. Mexico City Fight Night was happening. Shout out to Doc Pepper. Mexico City Fight Night happened. Brian Ortega, man, dude's a zombie. Basically a zombie. He gets his butt kicked. Well, first he rolls his ankle right before as he's getting announced. You can see it on screen. Then he gets his butt kicked for the first 2 rounds. And then Yair Rodriguez makes a dumb mistake and actually tries to stay on the ground with Brian Ortega. One of the worst things you can do if you're a featherweight. And he got choked out. Main event, Brandon Moreno, Brandon Royval. I like Brandon Moreno. Man, he looked slow. He didn't look like the same Brandon Moreno that was champion. So it's weird. MMA, boxing, it's crazy when you start seeing, I guess, like that decline happening. You start seeing it, and it's kind of sad because like they lose half a step. You can tell like they're a little slower. They're not as quick as they used to be. And that's what it looked like. He just looked a little slow compared to Brandon Royval. Close fight, split decision, but good night of fights. Over, I guess, like, not just UFC, but, like, PFL and Bellator had a big, like, fight promotion. Bellator actually won most of them except the main event. Ryan Bader got knocked out by Renan Ferreira. We could say Ferreira, but I believe it's Ferreira. Brazilian. Açaí. But the big thing that came out of that, besides that guy who won, Renan Ferreira, won. He's now supposed to fight Francis Ngannou, which I don't know when that's ever going to happen because Francis is fighting Anthony Joshua in boxing. And if Francis does what he did to Fury, like, in a good showing, like, why would he come back and fight him? Maybe contractually he has to, but John Jones was there. And John Jones and Francis had this interaction, tease. I could see it happening. Honestly, that's the best heavyweight fight that could happen. John Jones, Francis Ngannou. It's not going to happen in the UFC. Maybe it happens outside of the UFC. I don't know. I feel like we got teased a little bit with that. Who knows going forward what's going to happen. But I'm really interested to see that. That was like a nice tease to feel like, oh man, maybe it's possible. I hope it is. Lastly, on a good vibe is the NFL free agency market's coming soon. Teams are starting to let players go. And I know it's weird. It's like, how is that a good vibe? Because, man, like, it's always fun to see, like, where players end up. And the running back market's huge right now. Like, none of the players are getting franchise tags. So you have, like, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Swift, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley. I think I said Austin Eckler, like an Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard. All these guys now have a chance to go to a new team. I like Josh Jacobs. I'm a Raiders fan. I like Josh Jacobs. I just don't know if we're going to re-sign him because he wants a certain amount of money, and we're not franchise tagging him because we're not paying him that amount. So I doubt we're going to re-sign him to a deal where he gets that amount. So there'll be a lot of changes in that running back spot. A lot of changes. Defensively, there's going to be a lot of changes too. I really can't wait for it. I always liked free agency just because, like, even in a video game, we're playing Madden. One of the funnest things to do is do free agency. It's like you're adding new pieces to your puzzle, and hopefully your puzzle can finally be completed. And, like, for a team, now they can go to the playoffs and hopefully win. That's the goal. So some fun, good vibes, personally. Like, things going on. I don't know. They might not be so much important to everybody else. They're a little important to me. Let's look at our Debbie Downer vibes, man. After last week, I was like, I like calling these Debbie Downers. A little Debbie Downer vibe. It's funny because, like, I hear the name Debbie. I've only really known one person named Debbie. She was great to work with. And then Debbie Deb, right? When I hear music, it makes me dance. You got the music, here's my chance. When I hear music, it makes me dance. Oh, dang, start pop locking on you. But I've always heard about these Debbie Downers, right? No, this is that person that's always, like, down about everything. And sometimes when I talk about these, man, it gives me those Debbie Downer vibes. Some of these things. The first one is the Cam Newton situation. Excuse me, situation. Not from MTV. Although, shout outs to him, Life Together, right? But more or less of, like, Cam Newton, it's not him. Like, I'm a huge fan, actually, of Cam Newton. I actually think he's amazing. I think he was an amazing football player. But there was a fight that involved Cam Newton at a youth 7-on-7 football tournament in Atlanta. And some people say he started it, but if you watch the video, my man was finishing it. They forget, like, Cam Newton is, like, a big dude. Cam Newton is a big man. What is he, 6'5", right now probably 270. Former Heisman Trophy winner, former NFL MVP, I believe he's the all-time passing leader for the Carolina Panthers. You know, people want to say he's washed, but, like, the things he's done, some people will never do that, aspire to be a pro football player, ever. They never will. They'll never touch it. And, you know, him just getting into it with them, however it happened. However it happened. That video showed me, man, Cam was just ragdolling dudes. Kind of feel sorry for them, right? Like, about it, but it is what it is. I don't know who started it. Supposedly Cam might have started it. Who knows? Truth be told, I don't know. But I think they picked the wrong guy to fight. Honestly, that's all I think to myself. I'm like, oh man, you picked the wrong guy to fight. That wasn't the one you all wanted to fight with. Trust me on that. And let's see, another, I guess, Debbie Downer. This is still on sports topic. And this might take a little longer. There's this huge thing about if you're a player and the how you're kind of like placed on your merits is based off like winning championships, right? Winning ships. And I just find that hard because I guess if they're team sports, but if you look individually, right? Eli Manning's won a couple Super Bowls, right? Eli Manning's won Super Bowls. Matt Stafford's won a Super Bowl. Who else? Who else has won Super Bowls? Ben Roethlisberger, right? Ben Roethlisberger's won Super Bowls. Man, these players have won Super Bowls, and they're great. They're good players. Like, those are good, all good players. No guarantees that they're going to the Hall of Fame. Dan Marino's never won a Super Bowl. Never won one. Jim Kelly didn't win one. Excuse me. These are all great players. Dan Marino's better than all those guys I named that won a Super Bowl. He's better than that. Randy Moss never won a Super Bowl. Randy Moss is better than every probably wide receiver not named Jerry Rice. We can even look at basketball. Like Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, Patrick Ewing, Reggie Miller. Man, these guys didn't win rings. John Stockton, there's a lot of guys that didn't win rings. Allen Iverson, right? Carmelo Anthony. These guys didn't win rings, man. Tracy McGrady, I think, got a ring with the Spurs, but he wasn't the guy then. Well, Chris Webber, right? A lot of guys didn't win rings. They're still amazing. Like, if you went top 5 shooting guards of all time, Reggie Miller's your top 5 shooting guard. If you went based just off championships, he's probably still in the top 5, but he's a bottom 5. If Dwayne Wade didn't have championships, and this might be the hot take of the episode, if Dwayne Wade didn't have championships, multiple, he wouldn't be above Reggie Miller. He wouldn't be above Reggie Miller. I'm going to say it. If he didn't have multiple, he had the one, right? And the one, he led that with Shaq. Shaq, who was still decent enough to win. But Reggie Miller, man. Reggie Miller was amazing. Karl Malone. Karl Malone's one of the greatest power forwards of all time. Doesn't get the recognition because he didn't win nothing. Charles Barkley, when Charles played with Charles, was amazing. Charles didn't win nothing. Allen Iverson literally is a generational talent. Okay? I will say that to the end of the day. Allen Iverson is a generational talent. If it wasn't for Allen Iverson, there wouldn't be sleeve tattoos in basketball. He helped the whole hip-hop lifestyle be shown out because old boy didn't even care if he had to wear a do-rag. He was wearing braids. He was getting braided up because his braids came out. Didn't care. He was, truth be told, Allen Iverson was himself, and he let people express themselves. He's a generational talent. Dude's 6'1". Over here, his main thing isn't threes. Like, nowadays, everybody wants to shoot a 3. Steph Curry's a beast because he's amazing at threes. Tight. Allen Iverson's driving in, didn't care if it was Shaq, still putting them up. Okay? So, that's just my, Debbie Downer, is that everything's always pertained to championships. And truth be told, I don't think championships are everything. Sorry, I just don't. I have a hard time believing championships mean every single thing when it comes to sports. I don't. Let's see. We're heading already to the final part of this episode. It's been a good one. And my final thoughts, my things that are on my mind, is that I got like a good feeling. I got a good feeling about the upcoming month. Told you guys that it's gonna be a busy month. Things going on, things to take, tests to take, and things at work, busyness at work. But I just feel like it's gonna be a good month. Like everything's gonna go good. Like March is gonna be great, and I don't know. I just think that it's gonna be a good month, and I'm excited for it. I'm actually excited for it. The growth of this podcast, the growth of any type of thing I'm doing, I'm really excited for. Really pushing it, really pushing it with the content. Trying to put a lot of focus is on Instagram. I'm gonna do more focus on TikTok, a little more focus on YouTube here within this next month, and just keep putting stuff out. Trying to stay up to date with things, really trying to do that one. So trying to do that one. So this is the end. Let's talk about my socials. You can follow Swish's Hits and Kicks on all social medias. Pretty much we got our Instagram at Swish Hits Kicks Pod. We have TikTok at Swish's Hits Kick Pod on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Go check it out right now. Go subscribe on YouTube, please. We need that one. Go follow on Instagram. Go follow on TikTok. I am going to be putting out more content on there, and just have fun on the pages. Comment, say stuff. Let's have some interaction going on. I'll be posting many things, many parts of this podcast. I edit it and put it up there. So then, for some people, it's easy access, right, in small doses. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any podcast platform you use. Go check us out. Swish's Hits and Kicks. Get with it or get lost. This is what it is. Let's go.